police nyol alfa na mbejan yo all right ngala la holiday diala all right badi ngol ngalo konto ngal ton nalo konto you know we just have a couple of things to clarify and to pin a point at. We thought we were done with first Hussein Wanami, and the focus would have been who definitely did kill the cops, but we know we are not, and this case is far from over. We've heard from the president, and we've heard from his police chiefs, we've heard from his security advisor, and we've heard from the streets, you know, from his supporters, and you know, Ikuke Nyolo. Where we want to preface this conversation today is the president's statements that I have personally seen as segregative, divisive, and of course alienating the Bojang family. First, the president told us, typically in Mandinkan, and in typical analytical context of there was nothing like Useno Bojang belongs to a camp that the president does not feel like they are the same people. This is nothing to do with personality and where people are coming from or who they are or who they associate with. This was a case between the state and the Bojangs. So the state here does not mean NPP. The state here does not mean the Barrow family. The state here does not mean any associate of the president or otherwise. The state here is the Gambia altogether. And you as the head of state, therefore, if the state has a case against any Gambian, and that Gambian is a member of the state, you cannot take sides as the president. So your utterance is to say, ini minimu kukilingo multi luolung ibe luati nyaka nyimbango kayebu ko muta bara yenya muta mundalilla kan, and beside ita mamuta ita manka muta moti, because this was the state versus the Bojangs. Now if it is the state versus the Bojangs and it got to a point that people noticed that this person did nothing wrong, and for you as the president to say nyenimanke ntolo kuke nyoloti, so imanke kuke nyoloti in what capacity? Because you had nothing to do with it whatsoever. It was not a case between Adam Barrow versus the Bojang or the president of the country versus this person. It was the state of the Gambia, and you know, Useno Bojang ni Ami Bojang, they are members of the Gambia. They are part of that state of the Gambia. So the Gambian state having a case against two of its citizens has nothing whatsoever to do with you as a person, the president, and your political party. But because you had, you people have taken a partisan line from the beginning, and your statements re-echo those facts. Imanke kuke nyoloti wale almanke kuke lingoti, as in what? They don't support the NPP? How do you know what their political linings are? Imanke, kukiling with you, as in what? They are not from, your region or what? What exactly does that mean? Imanke kuke nyoloti or almanke kukiling or multi, as in what? They are not members of the NPP or what? Because that statement still need decoding for proper understanding of the society to say, Gambia ding wo Gambia ding itele bole nyaton kayakang. And ite you should be the custodian of our laws in this country. Therefore, you need to make sure that there is that impartial application of the law across the board, irrespective of what a Gambian believes or what they do not, including non-Gambians residing in the Gambia. So for you to take sides and tell us that ntolni nyine manke kukilingo multi betawa feka mantoro la molla ka yini minimo kukilingo multi. But what exactly was the president trying to infer here? The president is simply either telling us that Usenu is not a member of my political party, ni mantara kukiling, therefore anything could happen to them, and to tell us that Nindunya Rahmano Beko Nontoloma Momuta for more killing, Ali Amiran Tolenya Matala. But what tells you that at any point that you actually get a suspect, you have a probability of 100% that you actually got the right person? There are two instances, or there are two possibilities at any time that you actually get a suspect. One, It's either 50% you got it right, or the other 50% is probably you did not get the right person. You would only confirm that you got the right person through your investigations. But for the president to come out and tell us that, you know, whatever, we don't have any business whatsoever to do with them, it is not the presidency versus the Bojangs. It is not the NPP versus the Bojangs. It is not Manka Mankunda versus the Bojangs. It is not your region versus the Bojangs. It is the Gambia, and you are leading the Gambia. And for you to take that partisan position to make it look like but tell us, Gambia di bang. Wala manke mo fi ngol ci ko ita bang. Wala mambo ita la region oto bang. Wala mantra do ko la mansa kunda bang. What exactly does the president try to infer by telling us that ntolni nyine manke ku kilongo moluti? That speaks to one thing. After the politicization of this case, and now the ultimate defeat that you actually got at, you know, in court, now you want to tell us that atolni nyine manke ku kilongo moluti. Ku kilongo in what aspect? Now, that's just one aspect of it. The second part, iko atolo mamu muda nyundunia be kono fo mo killing. Nyimo killing ming aliyamuta al murunta al konya ko rebelo la mati. Nyimo killing ming aliyamuta al konya be do ko la brikama area council. Nyimo killing ming aliyamuta al konya ko ale codes nyole used to actually get him. Nyimo killing ming aliyamuta al konya ko ay conniving, you know, partner lesser mini alongo wolle moto di ala miya samba to the thick forest of Casamas. But aside, atoli yenye mo killing o mimuta dunia be ko natol mo mo na fo mo killing. But money atolo bulaka kumo le sifa be fo nyimo killing o miya alongo wolle be na take ko wolle manke to nya de president mo nyante de nyin kala walla. And the right thing that you were supposed to do, because I respected the fact that you allowed the legal process to go in, you know, without any interference directly. And of course, it was visibly seen that justice was being done, because the prosecution was giving the latitude to argue their case beyond reasonable doubt. Even whereas I believe that this case needed to stop at the no case to answer, I still, you know, respect the fact that the judge did the right thing by allowing it to proceed, because then and there we will know everything and, you know, all that had happened in the case. You never said anything that I felt that was respectful and respectable of you, that you allowed the police to handle it because it's the case of the state and not you as in a person. It has nothing whatsoever to do with you. You allowed the police and the prosecution to do whatever they needed to do. Just like the judge allowed both parties to defend or, of course, you know, argue their case to the best of their ability. At the end of it, and when the judgment came out, as a responsible president, unbiased and without taking sides, needed to ask these few questions. Where did we get it wrong? Summon the Attorney General, and which I think you still need to do. Summon the Attorney General. Attorney General. If you summon the Attorney General, and of course the IGP, and the former IGP who is the Interior Minister, right? And a few things to do with that if you really want to do justice to this case. Find out from the Attorney General what file the police submitted to them that they actually recommended for prosecution. Find out from the former IGP how Pate Jallo and Sanjay Gomez were stationed in this particular location. Have a historical fact of where they were all those days or all those months until the month they actually stationed them at this particular place. Find out where, you know, Sanjay and Pate Jallo were from December, let's say from, you know, April, May, June, July, August, all the way to September, and realize why they were put at this particular location by September. Now again, Mr. President, it will be important for you to actually summon the entire investigation panel, and of course the head of anti-crime, to ask them how they investigated this matter and why they said Usainu was a rebel, why they said he worked in Brikama Area Council, why they actually said he had other conniving, partners whose names were never mentioned, and as well, you know, tell us where the money they claim to have recovered, where it is. Mr. President, ask the Interior Minister why they gave 1 million to Mama Jabi when it should have been in exchange of valuable information that is actually going to prove to you beyond reasonable doubt that this particular person committed this crime. Because first, before you give 1 million to Mama, Mama would have given you something. What did Mama give the police? What did Mama give the president's family? Because Mama was all over in Mankamankunda. That means she would have sat with you. What did Mama give you, Mr. President, as evidence to this case? Mama was interviewed in your house where your sister lives. What did Mama give your sister as evidence to this case? When Usainu got to Casamas, Mama called your nephew who works at GRA. What did Mama give your nephew as evidence to this case? So your family is directly involved with Mama, who is the, the main person in this case who claimed that she actually got a confession from Usainu. Like if you go to a shop, you want to buy something, you give them money and they give you the product, right? Now you actually pronounce a bounty. That means you would have, have enough money with you, but somebody needed to present to you evidence that are unquestionable before you give them that 1 million. Mama audio di atolla. Alia 1 million di mama la. Altara kiti o lalko audio filter. Pare amerato nyama ma. Atole Gambian kolla namu kodo. Alia wata alia di mama jabila. Alia diala dalilo minka wala nyindiko Mama Jabi has an audio that contained confession from Usainu Bojang. In exchange for that audio, you gave Mama 1 million. Without even examining this audio. Without even listening to this audio. Without even establishing the facts about this audio. You just picked our money and gave it to Mama? And then when you were asked in court, Moro, where is the audio? Then you start examining the audio. This is how you people are ruling our country? After the fact? And all you could do was to lie that the audio is lost? Mr. President, summon your investigation team. Ask them these questions. Start firing them one after the other. Prosecute them and, of course, incarcerate them. That way we will see that your government is serious. That way we will know that your government is not culpable. That way we will know that Jalo Singo Mantara Foramoka. And one thing that is going to be clear, without any iota of doubt. And yes, Satan legend in Dunia. Ikaina to come and preside over this case. There is nothing, absolutely nothing, that can convict Usainu Bojang on this matter. Because if you look at Ibrahim Ajaite's judgment, and you believe in justice, and you believe in the truth, and you believe in the credibility of whatever that legal cycles or legal processes take, there is nothing to question about it. But me from Mr. President, Mama visited Mankamankunda. Even if she did not see you personally, she would have seen people. Mama visited your family members. If she did not see you, she would have seen them. Mama has constant communication with your nephew, in whose name her SIM card was registered. She would have provided something to them. And then Mama went to the police, would have provided something to the police. The police would have examined those facts and established facts about what Mama had submitted to them. And of course, do a proper investigation and thorough interrogation of all the facts that Mama would have given them before organizing that event at the Ministry of Interior's conference hall to hand over $1 million to Mama. Mama amune dunga atolo bulu. Fo atolo Mama kalelo ko audio bembula dratole 1 million dial alkay Mama tela hajola. Nyina mukuti laftali nyine nkala minna. Mr. President, if you are an impartial president who understood that you are leading a whole nation and not just a fraction of people, you wouldn't have taken sides. And if you are completely innocent about this matter, you wouldn't have taken sides. You would have allowed the Ministry of Justice to write its communique, do its appeal, because it believed that it has still some grounds to go and appeal. But what are you appealing? The decision of the judge. What had you presented in this case? Kaduhani evidence killing. Memo killing atol mo present. So for you to tell us that you believe that this person did it, you would have been provided enough evidence and enough grounds to actually have that belief. I dare you, Mr. President. Let's go to court and you provide your evidence. Don't even say that it's an appeal to the judgment of Jaite. Put up a fresh case and you come to court and provide your evidence. Because the courts do not make determinations on the basis of your beliefs or your assumptions or your suspicions. So you should have known better as a head of state. And in that kind of a communication, you should, Barrow is one very predictable person, very different from Yaya Jammeh. Yaya la kuriatiti, but Yaya is calmer than you. You pretend, you actually act as a nice guy when in reality you people are cruel, but you cannot hide it because you're very emotional and then you are very predictable in the way you actually react to stuff. Because you are so much agitated, you get so much agitated when Hussein Udaba speaks and you cannot really hide it, and then it is compelling you to say things that you shouldn't be saying. And that is why you are so predictable, because when you speak, it is visible in your mannerism and your behavior. A president should not be predictable. When you are in a position of authority, when you are speaking, even when you are angry, it should not be visible on you. Even if something really upsets you, it should not be visible on you. I remember when Jammeh used to be asked about Data Hydra, he just looks at the journalist with a smile and said, you know what, they died like any other Gambian. He ask you who killed the cops. Go and ask Hussein Udabo. That speaks to guilt. That speaks to a man of, temperamental attitude. Even though you're not, a very difficult person in my view, I don't really think that, you are much of a very, very bad person or whatever. But in this case, your government is complicit. And that is why you are agitating. Well, Mr. President, when a president says, I believe that this person did it, and you are the head of state, and the state has a case against this person, meanwhile, you have no evidence to prove it in court, then, Mr. President, sack all your DPP and all your prosecutors and be the prosecutor. It's under one circumstances that you can convict Hussein Oboja, when you, the president, becomes the judge and then put in your belief over evidence to actually give a judgment. If you, the president, become the judge and, of course, use your belief instead of evidences to actually give an adjudication on this matter, then and there, you can basically convict this person. But your statement speaks to one thing. Because you are the head of state, you are the #1 person in this country, and that is your belief, that belief will not influence any decision that is going to be taken either at the Court of Appeal or wherever. And any decision that is taken contrary to what Justice Jete did would actually be considered an influenced decision by the president, because the belief of the president is now what you are putting into test and not what was presented before the courts. So that is why your statements carry a lot of weight, carry a lot of power. And now, under no circumstances can you convict this person, because anything that you do now, we will conclude that is based on the belief of the president and not on any evidence. Evidence even if you put up a fresh allegation against this man, tell me what you would actually bring to court. Sanje fula kari woro ali fengo femfena be mutonya tanolade. Mr. President, because I tend to believe that Barrow really did not know what was going on, because this is so obvious that if Barrow really knows a simple thing that was happening in this court case or altogether, would have advised himself better. Is Barrow completely disconnected to what was happening in this country? That Barrow did not know that his police actually killed, actually formatted Hussein Obojang's phones? That Barrow did not know that the police that he is defending actually said this dude is a rebel? That Barrow himself, as the president of the country, did not know that the people that he seeks to defend actually told us that this person works in Brikama Area Council? That Barrow did not know the 1 million bounty he actually gave was given to Mama Ajabi on the basis of an audio that they came to court and said that audio is lost. That means Mama was giving free money and she actually gave nothing to government. Mama should be arrested by government and asked to pay our money and probably put behind bars. But I told you, we are going to make sure we take legal actions against Mama. and probably some officials within your government. So, Mr. President, advise yourself better. Advise yourself better, because your security advisor did not advise you better. Your IGP did not advise you better. And again, call Sankare and ask him. Sankare nga mo itara kidi mo re yenyi ninka ko yemimbe for police ole afwe. Police jumale afwe. Because when he was asked in court, he said the police told me. And when asked who among the police told you, he said the police told me. Police wuli tang wala mintambida wala be Gambia. For police ole bele diamuta Sankare. Let Sankare tell us the police officer that told him everything that he had said. And Jeng said everything he said was intelligence and a report from the police. Let Jeng provide that report to you, Mr. President, and you examine that report. Don't be lazy, man. You are paid a lot of money from the taxpayers' money. Your entire family is taken care of by the taxpayers' money. Then, Mr. President, do justice to us as the people of this country. Do justice for the people of this country. Call these folks who are within and around you. Ask them these questions. Call Ibuso and ask Ibuso, why did you format this young man's phone? Format. This is the question. Why does the president feel the need to think that Useno did it without even examining the facts behind everything? Why? Go to the prisons and actually get Lamin Sow, who said that, of course, there was a CCTV footage and Useno was sent by the UDP. You should be seeing to be an impartial president, an independent president who is actually leading all people of this country, irrespective of their political affiliation. But to tell us that it ain't Useno Nyolomanke coup killing what barandile, because I don't even understand coup killing as in what? As in what? Coup killing as in what? That you believe the person did it. Based on what? I should definitely have credible evidence before my table that I examine and understand that under no circumstances, without any reasonable doubt, this person did this. But you came to court, you presented nothing. Is the gun? You hide the gun. You actually put in a a wrong ballistic examination. All your witnesses were busy lying, and all of that. Somebody need to give this judgment to the president to read through, or probably go and ask people outside and ask them, how was this case going on in this country? Because your statement puts your entire party in jeopardy. It's shameful. It is shameful. It is shameful, the kind of statements that came out of your mouth. That you know, why would we just go and get okay, sir, Mr. President, ale dunia rahmano bejibe faranyanta moja la mutala motang. But atol mo kilongo la control yeko, this person has co-conspirators. Where are they? Where are the co-conspirators? Ila mol la control yeko, they've recovered part of the money he was paid to kill the cops. Where is the money? It told Loko he wore a combat boot. It did not fit him in court. So what did you want the judge to do? To oblivious of all the facts and saying anya bit drong nyine diara president lata nyine la drong mbado ngoke. Moro bara kiti yobuka ka wanyama bara ita control yelo ko ita ni mol kata kiti wala ita buka lawyer fa ngota ita ko win kiti bu kono. The president would have ka mol win no kiti bu kono da wota ita nyin kiti waje nyami ngani ita ke mira nyami nde wonim kiti win o fatatalde. Because you bragged at one point that you take people to court. You don't even take a lawyer. You go and defend yourself. You know, those people with their lawyers, Ike will win. Trying to show us how competent and, of course, great you are in winning court cases. But again, you told us you're one of the best mathematicians during your time. But yet you do not understand that the probability of it being the right, suspect or wrong is just, half of it. It's just 1/2. Follow among evidence will provide. You don't have any. By the time you actually get a suspect, the probability of it being the right person is just 1/2. Until you have all those evidences provided, and then you know that tonya na mimuta telomo. But at the point of capture, it is either or, and either or is a 50-50% game. So nyinno mukuote mi yalon ko Gambian ko be nyanta adambaro la mansa kunda nyinin kalala o manke ko mwe mansa kunda konne or whatever. For me, the reason why after the judgment I was like, okay, let's just see what the government is going to do. I was expecting, if you really have nothing whatsoever to do with this case, you should have been very much agitated. The first thing you should have done was, of course, talk to the people. We went to court and we lost. We still believe that we have a case, we will appeal. Meanwhile, my government will not leave any stone unturned. Mbe minkela wala nyintiko, IGP nanang, atolla ko nyimboyo murebelol, tali obone muntol. Atolla kontela mansa kundaye ko nyimboyo abe UDP le. Giving false information to a public officer is a crime in the Gambia. And for the police to be masterminds of those criminal doings on matters relating to the death of their own people? I know a lot of people is because of how they have to, struggle to get a job, take care of their families and all of that. But if I was a police officer, I would be agitated enough to resign. But those people might not even need to resign. The people that investigated this matter, the police should begin to question them. This is only telling one thing. People who are responsible for our security in this country could die and nothing will come out of it. And everybody is sitting and looking as if everything is okay. Including the entire police force looking around as if everything is okay. That they could kill any one of you tomorrow and it feels like it is okay. So, Mr. President, you need to appear to do right and you need to start doing right and you need to really rewatch yourself and, of course, do something better. And in doing so, you need to be seen to be making sure that justice is done on this matter. By establishing an impartial and, of course, an independent inquiry into the matter. To investigate the investigators. To investigate the police leadership. To investigate Mama Ajabi. To investigate even members of your family. And to investigate members of your political party. Those in the military, those in, at the prisons, and, of course, the police chiefs. This is what you need to start doing. But to take sides and say, this is not about Atolonin Tolo. This is about the Gambian, the state, the Gambia versus a potential criminal. So you cannot trivialize that and you cannot personalize that. And you can never take that from a partisan lens. All that you need to do is to see yourself as the president of the Gambia and all people living in the Gambia. And this is a criminal matter, therefore must be investigated impartially and justice is done. Don't side with the investigators. Don't side with the police. Don't make it look like this is a matter between you and other people. No. And that is basically my message to you. You need to start investigating the people inwardly. Nima wokedrong wotombalon na lokoitela mansa kundale along me police olfa. Probably you have no proper experience of how some of these things work, but Mr. President, to start with, right? Call the former IGP. How was Party and others put at this place? Call the other guy from whatever they call that institution, those with the black uniforms, anti-crime. Call him and ask him, Itako, this person confessed to you in the vehicle. How were you even jailing army and men in the same cell? Are you people crazy? Do you know that that is against somebody's fundamental rights? Call your national security advisor who is within the corridors of power. Ask him, how did you conclude that this person is a rebel? That he acquired this weapon from Casamas? This is what you need to do. Call the former DIG. Tell him to bring the codes to you. You need to see them, you as the president. You are the commander-in-chief. Let him bring you his codes. Because you need evidence, because you think you have enough of a case to actually go to court. You think that you believed everything they told you. Now, Mr. President, ask them to give you all those evidence. We ask you a simple question. Ask your government, why did they format the suspect's phone? Ask DIG, bring me all the codes that you were tracking, the phone that you were tracking. Imagine, at the beginning, you did not know who the suspect is. He remains as a suspect, or he remains as somebody killed the cops. And we don't know who this person is. And you told us that you were tracking a phone before, during, and after the incident. The police's sole responsibility is to prevent crime. Why didn't you take preventive measures to make sure that this person did not commit this crime? But why, after the commission of the crime, why didn't you arrest the person? But again, somebody committed a crime, you don't know this person, all of a sudden you were already tracking him. How did you know that was him? An unknown suspect you already started tracking? Make that make sense to a reasonable mind. But again, let's even give that unreasonability to them that yes, of course you were tracking him. Which phone were you tracking? Because we were told that the phone was actually left in Brookwood dead. But again, while you were tracking the phone, you said you were tracking the phone that night. Now, this guy was in Brookwood until the next day in the afternoon. So why does the president not see a reason to look inwardly and begin to question his own people? The CCTV footage is not seen. The vehicle at the crime scene belongs to an officer. Mr. President, we have provided you enough to look inwardly. J. Dabo has spoken and of course giving you enough reason to look inwardly. But your deliberate attempt to neglect all the right angles and the direction to which you should be directed at is deliberate. It is deliberate. I had the opportunity to talk to my grandmother. Yes, it's the weekend, so I had to talk to family, you know. I have a Manjago family and I have so I had to talk to my, it was like, oh my, I heard you be talking a lot about some stuff that's going on. Like, what is it? Because you say a lot of things in English and in Mandinka that I don't understand. And I had to start, you know, I did not get to start to explain in detail. I was like, you know what, grandmother, don't worry about it. You know, it's some officer stuff that did happen. I said, okay, you know, just be careful, you know. Just be careful. But typically, in a typical Manjago setting, it's like, but one thing that she knew was that there is something really troubling about it. Chunkama, de pusim pick purun pujaba nyankama, o boy one thing ba police kalempri brikama area council. Abaja kama legging the brikama area council jakete ne kalempro jaka kumoneko di kalempro. Baja kundo kumoneko churebel, abajaka a churebel wanu from uko puri de pumea. Baka kajaundu boy bajenga kumonulu fingumba police, neko lente mama jabi kumonulu fingumba police, mama jabi tiji audio ni meni, tultina lente nulu tunkuma nulu fingumba police. Kibandu kote buka jopona ni audio ni mena kuboy wijuon kumonulu fingumba police, ndija kumo audio ni mtemi yangaba 1 million from pusia. So koyu atepa, you know, the whole point is now chitepuja kumo, you know, banya anchiki chitepuja uboy we doing karoing, achipu ye para pusimpiu. Yimfingumba police, because the families now should start their own impartial investigation because the government doesn't seem to be interested in investigating the matter. So yindi bambuka bikinesan kampu nata leg in the table, you start your personal investigations. Because kweba jawen ke bling tu ti ukotu ya chingu kobu tu bling tu nyanke yeparu, weka ona pusinka punikuru tu par napatni mene ko katu ko na roli bukulu. Kina takia ulembu bukaja kama pasepa mfingo mbukulu neko chiri UDP we me kuma neko chiri UDP we kakaja kuma neko chinyani me kuma you know banya yili ulu buku ujaka yili ulu uko meata beja kuma luka unchamba pufing bukula unchamu muntanano bukulu buyankulu uncham tiwul biyaka unchamu winata. Hello man, hello. Dem banyanga tef bling tu bukaja katu lonko unchiwi because banyambi ki koiba jawin ki uli chunu chara. Wijaka butupu ko tubuka jawi mama jabe kuriye audio na audio niem aniema jom audio niem abanya ntipe tasi audio ba wini ndulu ba jo legi nginyeje ni audio ni muntu banyanga chiki mbambulinga ko yu pass we jawi wijaka kuma audio dikanyeji te pusi ntipondo pun case ni court buke kakaja kuma audio ni muntu nuko dika chiki mana di court webu kubekwa pusi webu kubekwa ko lo winda kampume pusi mew mbamfing biki upate mbari mbakaki ekatubu butubu luke kakaka bukulu bukangala pija kumonyane kajilenti wala tuntabwe anjako rikapori pija mtefinga banyankuru fingu ko banyane bukajanda balanda fina ya na banyamba puchate bling tu ndula mene ubarari uko kapna tuchaka cause nyandi kanata rikatolo papate pulempo nyange fingulu ngwana ngutabu ne clipage wijaka kuma ni bajenga fingulu chitulo ande ngukongi pusinga jenga bling tu achingu ko butubu bling tu so ubarari ke mielo. So until the families of both Sang and of course Pate now begin to do their own investigation, first go to Brikama Area Council, confirm that this guy does not work there. And then go to the police and ask them, where did you get all this information from? Because the death of your children, your relatives need to actually, get justice. And if the system in place is not willing to do justice, then the families to start, doing their own impartial investigation to make sure that they establish their own truth. And of course, seek justice or seek redress through the international community. Don't side with the government, because the government knows who killed these cops. That is why every year they invite you people to camouflage the situation. Don't agree to it. Now that you actually got to find out that, of course, the court said this person did not do it, then it becomes olero muntu in the company natanai team itablinga panata papana panata nobarari. Ochinda road ko montana on the mekon kmeneu at naruka winkwino pat be chat renda ruka tef blinga rukachi karanya ani kuruka tef kurtenuk ma ko montana on katum puchito chakwe because banya kapanata bling papu mekuma napana tingi ganata papa ya pale emparu chakula nyange fingol po finka gusu ko fason punu mari manyanga tef blinga kay nganara piulong koji Tanga rolenya, kaatu ko ina rolenya o chimbi mwara uniform papote polem nyanka panini fingu pasongpe mbare mbuka kaki keja banyanka ma achingu ko politika aka bro we ni politika ni finga pasongpe na undo banya yudi bijika ja pate jallo banyanke lukano wa sambi natana nina lo ninka njaka ipate buke finga pasongpe mutupo ba police ka kaki ke lenti bulenti ti ko mutana na wilingi bing aunu pintandi wijaka kuma upass winda mobu winking ndatepe mobu mobile la format rule wi nda mosade puwe natum bajaka manyani me mobile liba chuni butrakir buke mobile mbabuka ka format mobile lo ka ko mutana na puri puchu bararia o chitingu ko kambeko ningu ko ka gusuko. But I think the good thing is that, Grandma and other people understood what's going on. In the Gambia, the whole point is that people can be silent and be watching you. That does not mean that they don't notice you or they don't know what is happening. Ida bonna kumolto de, but that does not mean that more on tulo tamuela. Bawe ba fo kan tulo ba mweka. Nsan I could actually say na haji tije bara ko mamwe. No. Amanke obankuti. So this is the point. We all together need to start supporting these families of the victims. The families of the victims deserve justice. And now probably they are in that dilemma. What do we do? Because it is obvious to all of us that Jalola singo before Ramoka. Woto Walter Tilwan into Onyata Manila and Tilwan into Onyabe told la Carola and you told the Yanda Tilwan into Onyata Manila. But a Nimin found Yanda Tilwan into Onyata Manila, well on Tilimbalo from what is signed Tilwan into Onyabe Tamalan Onyadil. Until society collectively works together to make sure that justice is established in this case. Because Brikama Area Council from the beginning gave us a statement that this guy does not work there. Now ask the question, why did you say he works there? And the president, after all of these things, you were presented with nothing. You gave her 1 million to Mama Jabi, who should in turn give you an incriminating audio, just for you people to come to court and tell us that that audio is lost. So now tell me the simple, economics of it. It should be a give and take, right? I give you 1 million because you give me an evidence, or you provided me somebody with credible evidence that he committed a crime. So Mama provided you people with nothing. And you gave Mama $1 million of Gambian taxpayers' money? Okay. You see, the reason why the government will not take Ansi Jao for, for the treatment that was recommended by the medical practitioners while she was in custody, and then not long ago she came out to complain about body pain, is because they wanted her to say that she recognized Usaino. But Ansi Ning Alatema. Adiamuta walto kiti mod manyimboyo long nenana manyoje nenana mankudunte. We had no problem with anybody while we were standing where we were. It's just out of nowhere that somebody was shot. Boom, boom. Janinte beton lang fanangamwe boom. Nganam fang karamuta la loptano. Nganinje molla telefono kono kalbe aje nyaming, because they wanted her as the surviving one to actually lie that I nyimboyo shutele, or probably he is the person who committed the crime. Now that that did not happen, this lady, until Gambians come together to help her, she might continue to suffer in this country, because you told after me now more okay. So Ansi deserves support. She deserves international treatment. Those who have the financial muscle, capability, and ability to fly her off that country, that woman needs support. Just like every other person people raise funds for and take them for international treatment, that lady needs that, because the government will not do it. The reason why people are not doing it, we felt that it's the government's responsibility, because she was working for the government of the Gambia. In her line of duty, she was shot. And that becomes the government's responsibility to take care of her medical bills at all levels where required. But they failed to do so because she could not do the lies that they wanted her to. So let the people, the citizenry, support this woman. Among kuki hani momulla. Mama 1 million or so, and then mini along ko father 100,000 di wala family la. I don't even know how much you people would have given Auntie Jao. Mama man fendu ngato buloko na le Gambia la 1 million dia. Auntie Jao fela janga be tora kan be batare alamo samba no hani bantala banko kan jara rola. And atolo ko atolo be tonyala ninti wala tinyine kan kula mimbe dending wala sayala. Yala ni Auntie Father no fanga. You people don't worry. You people are pretending. You are just on a tick box to try to please those families, but the families now would know that something did not go right in this case, and they definitely need to point their hands at the government and start to do their own impartial investigation and include people, around the world to make sure that the government does the right thing. And that is to check inwardly, to ask their people why all the lies and the fabrication, deceit, the cover-ups. President Barrow, if you want to be taken seriously, this is what you needed to do. The reason why this lady survived was for a reason. Indeed, it was for a reason, puppies. It was for a reason. But it could have gone either way. She could have lost faith in God and actually decide to side with the liars. Imagine if she had said, oh yes, I recognize him. He was the one that actually shot us. An innocent person would have rotted in jail. They tried to actually play a perfected script that was meant to be an operation, no mistake. And it became operation at every level, mistakes upon mistakes. Operation mistakes upon mistakes. And then you would understand that if you understand how criminality is investigated, you will notice that the initial script was a pre-planned one. And the script was prepared before the incident. Post-incident script shouldn't be the same as the pre. Because the post-incident, some of the actions would have actually changed, and therefore the script needed to be changed a little bit. But because they are not criminally smart, they actually left the script the way it is. Wale atina, because UDP made the complaint about Patajallo. They did not wait for another UDP court sitting. Purka modundi wolokono, mi yalonko wole betala manya maneke wodla, yena lawokang, maybe need for a UDP ban, yo mari bondi nang, from the prisons and probably send you abroad and ask you to shut up. No, that did not happen. For them, it was like UDP complain about Patajallo. Let's just do this. Go and do whatever that we want to do, and then say that it is one of them. But one of them, in case Nimma Marishot or whatever we would have done, we go to court and make sure we secure a conviction. The government was not interested in establishing the truth and justice. It was out there, to vehemently fight to secure just a conviction. By any form, Tonya wala Tonyata no, let's secure a conviction. That is why they formatted his phone, because it was not about establishing the truth. It's about alanga laka. Alwulta walang alanga laka. Wala tol moja ubale timan ala yalong kila yalong. Alanga laka. Boy ala telefono atandila ko nyimbo ontende. Boy ngo telefono format wai. Al telefono format boy ngalaka boy. Boy. Yindula de ngamara yamran ta folo ko nga bay standal moy la de ko mi ya mi ñu faro ke ay combat buto la dum boy ndate yalla te sama saba boy ñu kilo mo combat buto nga fatel tam al nga laka a confession no aboy mboso no la nyaadi woni ndo ke ta sonna ko confess anonta video fela nan jani mo fe nan jangi no abena lanke na wala ko ndoke man son ko confess so be min ke no la alngata anyin ka bato la anyin ka fato la anyin ka ya molto la yewol be sa fedro ko okay mi ngo min be jedo ngata wo be double double nga sa fe fangol nga tomprin imagine aboy mbana na bo ko ngata ke in be fango independent witness or he entered anti-crime through the back gate at midnight. Oh, this is very simple, man. This is the simplest case to actually adjudicate. This is the simplest or the most cheeky banditry that one can ever imagine. More so for a state masterminded crime to be this weak. Adama ina masakunda ito nyanin tilungo tamandi. Molo me konjang. Molo man konnante ya sodo me mintan dilela. Para min nyanta do wolon to nyanin tilungo ti. Atol nintol be kanyanta nyimbanko kanjane. You've never heard this young man say anything about politics. I, for one, don't even care who rules the Gambia, because When I felt I could no longer live in this country, I was like, hello, madam, let's leave. On our own terms and on our own terms and conditions. So look, I lived in Europe before I actually came back to Gambia and look around and say, you know what, this is not it. I'm leaving. So why do you think I should be interested in what happens because the whole point is you move with Gambia's problems wherever you go. Because your families live there, your relatives live there, and that is your country. There is nowhere else you could be proud of more than where you came from. So what's the point? You people told us that this person was an act of terrorism, and in the first place, you did not even say it was an intimidation for the police or they were against the police. They said they were against your government. But of course, I will still give you the benefit of the doubt because you are the head of government and you are the head of state. Therefore, anything that is done is against you. That is true, but should be backed by evidential proofs and not your beliefs and thoughts, because your beliefs and thoughts don't rule a country. Dr. Adama, begin to do something right. Begin to impartially investigate the people within and do it impartially. Probably you need to get, a civilian-led investigation that would investigate the police and of course its inner core, because the police had no reason whatsoever to lie against the killing of its own men. Their responsibility is to protect life and property, and that includes the lives and properties of their own men. Ote man dalil wa dalil la so pour ka toñata no fo kula membe den dingi tol fangol la mon la sayala aw ci kinja ko ci barade botu nyanke te fanu fingu pat man jako aw jaka ko makori karolul ko la mene botu ko nyako kindo ko fiara ko man kate ci. But again, justice would just outrightly outplay itself. For some reason we will just sit down and then, of course it will just fall from the sky and that is justice. No. Justice is just us until we demand it. It will never be given to you on a silver platter. More so when those who are supposed to give you justice become the criminal perpetrators of heinous crimes, then you don't just sit back and seek justice. And again, if under a regime 80 or 70 children could die of a cough syrup simply because of malgovernance and of course institutionalized corruption and of course negligence, and then cops being killed in the way they are killed and for the government to lie to the teeth about their death, you vote for that government again, then that means that you are actually settling for the status quo. You see, if you have reason and you look at Jammeh's days, the first 5 years was not really, but except for like that November 11th or whatever, but like those folks who wanted to do a counter coup, military versus military, personally, I don't justify that, A man did a coup and he succeeded. You want to counter coup him more, in the way and manner it was done, that is, grossly wrong or whatever. But again, that is military versus military. But the first couple of years, we realized things were better until the more you put in your system, the more intoxicated you become. The more you stay, the more intoxicated you will be. First, 70 children died. Oh, Gambians still continue to vote for me. Oh, they like that I could kill them. Oh, yeah, 2 police officers got killed in the manner in which they did. Oh, vote for oh, they are very happy. They are very comfortable with what I'm doing. Jammeh, until he got after 10 years, 12, 13, that is when we begin to realize that, oh yeah, we have now shaped a very, very dangerous person who could actually pick any one of us, until we collectively say, hey, doina, can do you feel and you can only do that through the ballot. But you settle for it, who knows? You can become the victim tomorrow. And who cares if actually you vote for this party or that other party? So this is basically you got to understand. Sorry, I'm getting calls from unknown numbers. I'm not sure if you get somebody's number that is not even saved on the person's phone. The first thing to do is probably to send a message, then you just be ringing people's phones like that. But anyway, that's beside the point. So nyinno mu kuti mi yalon ko mulu nyanta kala. Na le karre fa adama wala nyinto ko atolo sontalo ko 70 children should just die of cough syrup and true government negligence. Na le karre fa adama wala nyinto ko atolo sontalo ko police wala nyanta fala nyim fanya jaw si fala le, and then for government to come and lie and normalize that it is okay. But because I'm not interested in the politics of it, here we are asking a simple question: who killed the cops? And the Gambian will be to continue to mount pressure on the police, to continue to mount pressure on the state of the Gambia, to continue to mount pressure on everybody to keep asking these questions. And we are begging the journalists, just like Point newspaper did for Data Haidara. Every newspaper in this country should wake up tomorrow with the question, who killed the cops, on a little caption of their newspapers, until we get the right things, because collectively we all need to work together. Even though this case had even journalists involved, because na journalists solo dole jejanne mini wulte ka ko sino bojang confess moro nibe wo safela e ka follow ko according to this person, or this person said, or the police said, but you authoritatively made it as if it was in your presence. Al ka kala nyin safari sifalke bial bebe malulenne. I will not mention certain names because nafata wala I'm not here to actually blame or jalai anybody. Whatever momo iminke dro yake ni alal tema ala se kontibuala according to this person, don't take statements that do not belong to you and of course make them yours, because tomorrow it will all bounce back on you. Many people had said a lot of wrong things against this young man about this, but we never froze, because from the beginning we know that everything Sankare said was a lie, and that was completely end of case for us. And now we dare the president to provide his evidences, because he said that he believed that, of course, this person did it. And your belief does not actually adjudicate any case. Cases are adjudicated on the basis of the merit that are brought forward to them and the evidence is presented. Therefore, we are daring the president to present his evidences. But we intend not to, go any further. But of course, Sang is a young man that I know. So when you tell me Hussein is home and Malmo could relax, no, I'm not relaxing. Somebody that I know, I watch folks teach at presentation and marry a very little kid, whom I consider my family. If that person is dead or killed in the way he is killed, we will continue. Hana atara fang ko me belo long fang fereng. Moro momo Gambia uniform odum police uniform odu we do ko lan tol natol bele. Katu okoto uniform odu wato wati mandra do ko kay wululali ebe do ko kay Gambia bele. Odo ni momo ye fa o kono dro wonyanta Gambia bele sunula. Anu ninto nyani ntilo nyanda tamala odo Gambia no bele nyanta oto nyani ntilo tamanila. Odo Gambia no bele nyanta wulla ka nyin question no nyin ka who killed the cops. Ndolo mandra mono made mbe min no mo wala nyinte ko jumale yake. Woto momo nyanda to nyani ntilo tamandila wala nyanda findila ka to nyani ntilo tamanda ko. Nyin karo nyin manjow ya amanke nendre kumanta amanke kumatile mbalti momo amandra mola politiku kuto mbe nyin karo ke kam minna jumale police lo fa ka police lo mandra doku ke kan NPP police lo mandra doku ke kan UDP police lo mandra doku ke kan any political establishments or whatever group. The police work for the Gambia, for the state of the Gambia, and if they are killed in the way these folks were, then everybody in this country, not just their families, should continue to ask the question, who killed the cops? Until then, alanga continue kanyin karo bambandide. Now my police only yela comment section of block earlier on, but they had to reopen it. But I'm told about me from Marco Ekang to actually ask who killed the cops, because I told you I don't know. Wala ne konen jalo singo before ka kolya atol ka comment section of close nyadira. You should actually open it wider for people to continue to ask that question, because we are trying to know the people who killed your own men. Atol do kunyolo wala fata o fanya jaw si valla alla boss ñol finite fanya fo la kodo bindol ba fo kan who killed the cops atol ka la comment section o sorom wala Gambia fa do bi jende ka jakale fa atol fa ma nyala fa wala ya ma atol man kulo ñing ko do ba atol ñanta kontan la fango tol ka because atol ta keno la fango le because of your codes of conduct and ethics. But the public is doing it on your behalf and you are blocking them from speaking. Gambia fa do bi fa ngonta ka jaka la butum nali am block nsal tag nali o fana bonde do nsa safe dunia dula karo bela oto sayambe journalist so fana be commandila ala nyin kala do ko ala newspaper bala la safe je momo fana be ko to drong ala safe je, until we actually make sure that Gambia kodeng akana muru o jamano economy ya lonko mulka fa fanya jawol and then nobody will establish the truth about it. That should be a done error. That shouldn't be an error in this period. And I think the president should definitely give us the respect enough to actually investigate this matter impartially. Therefore, we are calling on him to look inwardly and of course begin to do right, and let his advisors advise him to do right, because hani tolo fango damalu ya alone membe kering. One thing is interpersonal relationship. I protect them a lot. I speak to a lot of people who support the regime, who are key in the regime, and will be at You know, they would say things outwardly, but internally moral. It's not important to say. But if there is anybody within the regime who actually believe that Hussein Bojang killed the cops, probably it's just Barrow. Because every other person is like moral. And you people know that it has a political bearing on you. That is why some of your people start agitating. If there is any one person, only person who believed that Hussein probably did kill the cops, it's Barrow who said he believed it. But your belief should now be backed by facts. And we want you to present your evidence, and we are daring you to do that. But aside that, we are very disappointed in your statement. It is divisive. It is basically segregative. And you are telling us that ntolning kare nyolo mantra kukilung ntolmanke kukilung omote wala nyinte ko ite minyanta kala ntolbe la president wote inyanta kaje ko Gambia dingo bebe ntela koto ite ka dolo ite ka fatam fanso dundini moltema simply because there is a court case that your government might be complicit in the perpetration of this heinous crime wala atine ko inin ntolmanke kukilung omote woto ite yela kuolta ndol fananga na kuolta wala ni wala rule elsewhere and leave Brufut out of it. Brufut will remain as an island, and we can have our own president. Probably, you know, we can exist as a country of our own. How about that? And get us out of Brikama Area Council. And then and there probably we can establish Sani Mentoring Area Council. But that's just a joke. Thank you very much for your time, and you know, do have a wonderful, you know, whatever time it is at your locations. But abuton ko mo don nati ka adama nyininka atiyala evidence ul fintinde na sila.
Okay, so first of all, what I love about Menkata, the man, is the Memen Konafolo. So Masakunda ko price on the about $12 in America, from $88 to $98, so about $10 plus lafata jele per liter. And inara kumo itande kumo lako o lafa fon anyenta num kajana dangerous wote. Anyenta kata $120 something ma fon lano. But it only munke they put a subsidy. Walenko na tara num itanya daga sam num $24. Anyenta kalot no. Sorry, $124 is per liter. Kanyanta kalot so it only subsidy KJ can subsidize to make it you know, how to call it, to get it to the level of $98. So basically they're subsidizing the fuel. So that led me to another currency, and I looked at Masakundala fuel structure that for a year for the month. And then I started going inside, checking what this price actually means, and then what are the breakdowns of each level of taxes and levies and fees. This price that they're talking about. So banko jama bija around the world today, mo be dewrene banko bebe jomolene America wala bang, Angleterre bang, Germany, France, everywhere. Everybody is worried about what the future holds when it comes to energy. You never caring. Nobody is actually comfortable. So caring, then people now gradually start looking at ways ka federal jibe saying ben na bankudu protect la jang ka min kum babula na marse da mabu. Because for example, on February 28 was the day Iran Israel Iran America Iran ma. That day, before that day, a day before the 20th of February, the fuel market, so the fuel market Benjamin, market Jama, there's two, there's a Brent crude oil market, then the diesel essential market is mostly called, one of the most famous ones, the Platt. Like that. So they have the Platt, and then they also have another platform that can be used. So when you're buying and selling petrol, you use the Platt pricing. So they'll ask you what is the price Platt per metric ton. They will say maybe 700 plus 15 plus 20 plus 5 or minus 20, $15. So Platt is the benchmark price, the world market benchmark price. About $750 mafana. Well, price to know on the day before America Iran ma. Just 1 week ago, I asked one of my friends, who's a big supplier of fuel, Kasam Jamaica, Mali Supply, and Burkina and other places. He's a good friend of mine. Another friend, Kunya Central saying almost $1,200 to $1,300 per metric ton. That is every 1,000 liters. That's 1 metric ton. Is from $720 something, $750 on February 28. B, it has hit March Bandula, February, April. In 1 month, I thought almost 1,300 and something. So Nyajibe is almost close to double. So banko, wala bring me for what I banko bela fuel tana so na that no complain. Yes, I understand. The world market has gone. It has gone almost double. So new GB, 28th of April, sorry, February, you hitting about 700 and something dollars. So by April, Gambia Tonya na price on yantakadanu almost double of this close to double of 88 million. Na bonya na tarala tak for tak. Ha. And the main thing is Gambia as a country. Natra banko dolem comme American nyaje trombala je kalante adiamola ansa be tapa kante. Banco Dobie, they have what you call strategic national reserves. They can fuel doka tare bulle wato wate. Banco kense mabuka siwa nyama. Gambia mu banku kaw kubal ala ndol ala da malabo. Ndol Gambia fo ni gamba ko korasi. Ndol banku ya fo maybe ndol man qualify. Kaka banko fo because and that's this in because we are living on borrowed time. Ndol mantra securing. Ala le fanan kan jibete rek. Mantra in na banko mantra posema komi banko no si life and secure. Banko they have petroleum natural reserves. So bala ni natural disaster busada. Fenketa bakono kulwol be boyta wala fenketa ten something keta. Janni wo 2-3 months or for jaden dina la back to normal. Ita jantala ye fan soto da manding. Yele reserve dun soto ya sing let's say ita jara so ma ita maburu bonka kono je. You know kiya wulo kono jan. Ita maburu je wala bang ila reserve me ka bukama because petroleum bukatinya. Ya ke dawda petrol fon diamond ya contaminate. But naman contaminate abetala nyama je. So wati we should have at least na banko ka solar 16,000 metric tons lela. 16,000 metric tons of petrol fuel. Nkola consume well an average. Sometimes the money sometimes I do mal. But yen an average 16,000 metric tons. So now by nyama ite as a country nan adwara fa better. Was 16,000 multiply by 3 months or at least 6 months. Now na ndefa for hani 1 year for hande kalati. Ta bari komi sembo Kenya lang pati petrol da man dia. Baba be dia time moment at least 6 months of national reserves. Inyan total yo pack black killing banjulu somewhere base police or guard soldier you know ye ni la je ko kantela kon ni make law be daming hani kudo buka time word you understand because it's a national security issue so you treat it as a national security matter ya family so we should have at least 3 to 6 months of reserve nanga rental zero même fala jawla Gambia hani tondo reserve at young because na storage for na national storage have me gam petroleum 20,000 metric tons you koda maratano so one day is also kind of second what so there's no space it could be reserve kala da men ko momanya na mala as kola nyawnya it could brajele it could usually only when times are tough ko randa be men ko Iran America be kelola ya state of Hormuz so 20% 30% of the world global supply be second in move crisis been by force. It's also about $700 and something dollars at $1,300, $1,400 per metric ton at the plant price. That is dangerous. So minimum protection this price can go very, very bad. So but this year, this month, I told you this Mansakunda, Ndengamera no abesela nyami adasala doman ne bari still asela tabakel. So Mansakunda nata muneke nata iko muneke subsidies. So iko subsidy like ye kudole ye niko subsidy wala ko be nim femme nyanta cost la let's say abe could be banku do nyanda sanna dalasi kemala bari dalta ka sang dalasi tawar wala let's say $70 wala the regular price over all of a sudden global crisis kera butu market ko pam more market ko control la fuel ko wa fi dami wal man bala fa so moy so iba sanna wala it doesn't matter. So banana rasa intela banku do what do I do now to protect them? So right now Gambia dunia bebe nyala isi mobe si mune ke no because nim manke original time de e ka taxol men ko le ka kol men ke daba daba saito ken wala dunia Gambia lambang everything even just be all of one trigger be Zambia certain be men call Zambia be they just announce ko ila they just suspended e ka me excise duty yeah suspend la VAT for value added tax but you often suspend to zero for at least 3 months. So this is our countries that are serious about their citizens. But yalan ko niye marketo bala normal way la yela taxo keje yela VAT keje yela excise duty keje yela duty keje yela level keje all this nonsense kanyin jabo ni kano ni jimbo ni be chapa jana fa dolla pompoto akasia bakela listo ni bika fon ko bi wala fo sama nan jan kana listo fo jibe mana nan be jin fo be collect kan akata min tole ndol ko mun fo sorendo nga be ka ko le normal be go nyoko no license abi kada be sedin jana malam to malam mun fo fuelti malam mun na price wolti how aka fo dama pompo de amin mun be ka la jana fa to ma we have no idea jama bi je malo so wala fo sama nan so Zambia fanji be ko ko rasi yenyin chunk of taxes kamen lakan masakunda ka kul mella nin mole to essential sama bako kan yana futa essential tiyo me ka fon mella fa kan taxo ni fon tan men ka jo wala ka combinate wala ka lanyo kan wala ka ke pomp la price wote banatra yin fuelol be yin taxol be bondi je wore ba jala do min to fon la fuel fon yaji fo original men ka banan bantala na jang ya fanketan ni taxol be ni fermeson be bondi je masakunda la nyin kulu susu lan kulo ni fon tan subu kulo yol be bondi je most likely iba jala avec la $65 ma wala $70 ma wala ajala so Zambia banko même Zambia ti bi will announce they suspended their excise taxes and they also suspended or reduced their VAT tax to zero so iko pour 3 months kali sabadron pour sir banko bol si fanna fano price ole stabilize ji ajala foi ni global price o america la ni kelo ni fay bank dunia buru back to normal so be jigen ko janen karta ba hopefully kelo e bandale irani la layele moli start ka fuel wa ko tanke lay stabilize goes about supply and demand 20% of the world's energy hand and second in man tamino so obviously there's going to be a shock in the market and the markets will react. That's what they do. Business people don't give a damn about who you are. They care about their money. That's the way the business world works. It's a cutthroat world. They have no mercy for no country. Unless you are a producing country yourself, then you control your destiny like Saudi Arabia and other places. But if you're an importer like us, China, India, whatever other country, you are at the mercy of the markets. So we have to understand that. So right now, this is a time that banku mol bebe fangi bekang ye fam balo korosi san do simone keno. Simone bonno, simone kobosi no ngani kobosi ngani do chobosi jana ba je ko sonaya. So wala atina nara mo fana ko masakunda ko bi yenyi subsidy ke there's a report ngam ko about 300 and something million dollars is menke in the subsidy. So nyime mo isa mera no ko masakunda na ko do dile ko central bank fanke ko do di in la purka price winning thing, how do you call it? Price winning gene normally, but that's not what happened here. So Zambia menke, bring aja ko mereng ngarang pana na price structure jibe, ntol fo masakunda kan yin kol men be chopas jang nga ko raskuba. Wala en hakilo sama bi ndara nyin nombal jibe. The price structure for April, my nga ken na Facebook. I posted it on my Facebook. You may chance with a budget. A baby jail, nga be killing. Point out the most critical parts of the price structure that leads to the $98 something price. So yes, we all accept the world market price. The price was like $1,400 and something for the AGO, I think 1,150 something for the PMS, petrol. So diesel left on a set of the money. Okay, fine. We know that. Now, what I did was I went through Katanya for saying can I black Katafala and nitty gritty corner. Ntaranga price breakdown with GB, the price structure. When I looked at it, I went to because near GB from top from Damon na fuel nada price of menna taxable franco lata kan sorry the margins of the importer margins and other things, the LC cost importer la side la importer ning banks or ning many fuel manager the LC cost 1.5%, all of these things you'll be doing your college, which mine to concern back, that's just between importers and the business model, understand. And so but when they came down to the taxes levels, this is when my head started going like, wow. Man naman for time no. Man naman do yung kono kanyang for check. Sign and tarangin korasiku. What the hell is going on here? Like I said, Zambia just suspended or brought their VAT to zero, and then excise duty to suspended. So let's take this on Gambia side. So forget about the subsidies, forget about what Masakunda kwe menke follow, kwe subsidy okay? Let's just look at these two, only these two follow. So other tax on menabide Masakunda kamen kobasin koto. Jamalem, okay? Bari na focus in Zambia menke follow. So Zambia VAT la bandi. VAT wala value added tax you wala kobasije. Ndol male ndol tam jela ndol jang is $11 every metric ton. So jani nga dung ni metric ton ni fona ni dollars on ni fona la fa few things la clarify la put la bala sa nyimbe katala al salon memen. Okay? So Gambia la consumption na fuel consumption per month average is 16,000 metric tons total. This includes diesel and gasoil. Also ani essential and diesel. Yabe combine your kan 16,000 metric tons. Each metric tons is 1,000 liters. 1,000 liters equals to 1 metric ton. We are consuming 16,000 metric tons average. Sometimes it could be a little more, it could be a little less, depends on what's going on. This is Gambia national consumption captured by GMPC. If you go to Google, you find the same thing. Okay, you can check it also. So that's a good number to keep in mind. So 16,000 metric tons equals how much? 16 million liters. Okay, so let's do the math here. 16,000. Calculate. 16,000 tons times 1,000 liters is 16 million liters. Say, every dollar men get a tax order towards 1 liter, you just calculate. And then you know the price or the amount of money that we are talking about here. So, like I said, Zambia, the country, today they suspended VAT and then the excise duty tax. Fine. So, let's just take those two and remove that out of the price of Fonkwenye, okay? The Fonkwenye, the whatever price they're telling us. So VAT tax is $11 per Fonkwenye, per liter. $11 is every liter you pump, you are paying $11 in taxes and VAT. Every liter you pump, you are paying VAT $11. Every liter you pump, you are paying duty of just duty. They just say duty here. It might clarify. $3.10. Every liter you pump also, you're also paying what you call excise duty tax, $3.75. Every pump you funko, you are paying NRA, NRA kilo, national road authority, you are paying them $8 per every liter you pump in that liter. Motor vehicle, you are paying 50 bututs. Road tax, the same road tax you pay every year on your car. They are also every liter for now. They can double like road tax level. Okay, 30 bututs. Car parks, motor garage maybe sare kono wala fanan 20 bututs kara fan every liter. These are few of the phone call ngamin ataja. So bring over calculator at $27 and 56 bututs. Able jokan every liter it wala kata some of the taxes more majority of the taxes can wala calculate. So every time I pump or start pumping, every liter medunda $27 and 56 bututs total to taxes now ite immoral for Kenyan follow. So say let's take this $11 and plus $3.75. Okay. 11, yeah, plus 3. Sorry. Oh God. Okay, let me just do this search here. Okay, so $11 is plus 3.75. So $14.75. $14.75 bututs. Let's say we decide. That's what Zambia did. Zambia did two taxes, VAT and duty. So in $14 is now, let's round it up. Let's do some maths here. $14.75 multiplied by, 14.75 multiplied by 16 million liters. You multiply that by 16 million liters. That's $236 million 1 month. Just those two taxes. 1 month, like, wole bondin na fonkoto na fuel cost kono. But then when the government said ko subsidy, they were talking about $300 million is already subsidy. I think one of the reports says 300 and something million dollars. That's what they gave in subsidies. So when they say give in subsidies, you think they give you money, or you could alter the coin for like nalbe come kana you have $100 plus allow of 98 la. So this keep this money and then we rest the others. No. This is exactly what they did. 200 and something million dollars is yole fankenye. But say this just two taxes. Only two, the VAT tax and the excise tax. That's $236 million is 1 month. You multiply that by 1 year, is $2,832,000,000. Just two taxes. So we'll come to this. That's what Zambia did. So Ntola Karola, now let's look at taxol membida. Now we can all understand, some of these things, if it makes sense or not. Okay, we the Gambian people, okay, taxol membelaren tolkan. Ngaji fa non fo ñeñu collect ntol kajan life kon fo kajan life kon. Ba ñu ka kanyal. Every fuel meduna jang, every drop of fuel, every liter of fuel. This is what Gambians are paying. Probably understand. Follow. These are the key ones. Gambians have don't be to come. These are the key ones. And then one of them, the first one, fuel levy. Fuel levy. What are fuel levy? NRA, National Road Authority. So I'll be NRA lenokodi. Gambia la Road Authority. Basically, silo ning kuol tema. Sai, lafa gaji ngara jang. I told for the past 10 years. Sanjita men tamirete. Alnane amole ko NRA, National Road Authority. Iko I kudo fele ye mensoto. I lafa kata silo dada. Sila kari busumbala silo wala guigila jana yundum lo costa lo kuno fongo silo jana ni silakar jana silakari ma fa highway balde iko menka cost $1 million per kilometer ning batil hade mo fa just nanin ko masilo ni folta because for the past 10 years silo membe dara jambe kamra jana OIC la kudo OIC roads equal a two phase one wala batil hadenti phase 2 50 kilometers of urban roads nanyin sukura silo ni nema silo ni fol be dara lokono ba de kunda sabi silo jana katawo jana tunum fang ba kotelo jana tunum fang nyade Johnson all of this for the past 10 years me ya jama for let's focus on barola alia moy mintole ko NRA Gambia National Road Authority wala sita ko kudo fela jang nkara silo dada nyin silakare 10 million 15 30 100 million dollars 50 million 60 million dollars ala fonye ba nemme ya long afanya commento do mbajela mte ma kalamuta ya rafa NRA ni besiri nyinaka so NRA as we speak currently nanyi fuel taxo masa kunda e kulol ni subol men nyaki fuel taxo bala price futani pom price ma comme ni mola bonda bantala masa kunda kanala ya fo nyini bola faje yana futa pompor yana futa essentiel so essentiel la price ite bojo ka wato ite ka nyine jo ite ka nyin dollars ite 5,000 men jo kanu ite $8 so ni abefele 27 or $30 plus 27 to wala safa jambaria asiara do dobi jo mun 10 budut fenkala ni 15 budut on the mode count but menan ko this 50 budus or more lo konti jam ngamen ko tata 27.56 ndolbe don fuel joka $88 lala so almost $27 nyol be katale taxo la mammen kalolo so NRA fere jang wala folo trita folo wolta munati so mira ngi be killing fo aning ngamira ni ngamena taxo fo sai ngamira sai ko ko don kaje la bam fom bakaje ani munisike no ko dola hakili mal fanan munisike no ko dola da jani ba da NRA dona wala ko do dam mata NRA nyi ko do da kadi dumalla ko do nyum bakaje sola nan benyin ngaro jang dumale NRA la projet kutamo ko NRA cité la jara soma silo wala fanta silo ngam mem moy girafle yake jana wol bank la silo lan jana barota da bere la wol bank la silo lam barota da bere la OIC silo lam barota da bere la giraf la contrat ko lam ikanyina moy bare NRA national authority ko na kudo frankara sila dada nali ya ma la fon bare $8 say per metric tons equals to every liter they get $8. So let's do the maths here. NRA tato portfolio. $8 per liter. Ngajale file Gambia la consumption per month. Gambia can consume per month 16 million liters of fuel every month. So you take that 16 million, you multiply that by $8 every month. That gives you $128 million every month to to NRA la levy. Masakunda kwe kudemilani NRA levy. Taxo emella pour NRA. Ya savejela specifically NRA. Nda masavejela. So nga mem post fana nga tala albaje la jela. Wale la kudete. You multiply that every month by 12. $1 billion is wale 1,000 million sikodi. $1 billion is $536 million. $1 billion $536 million. 1 year. Wala dung GRA la post NRA la post kon. Masakunda ka meng kude out of this how to call it this fuel levy tax. Every liter yemen pump at the petrol station, dollars say atara NRA. You will suffer ndama suffer. So kono $1 billion is 536 million. Okay? Saying silol. Baro sila jenne. So let's convert into dollars. Alinga ufaling dollar. Okay? Okay? Dollar side by 70, 74, 73. So let's divide that by let's say 74. That is $20 million $756,000. $20,756,000. Sandi kili named sangi tang moke jana wara din nimbara banyola ja. Okay? Let's say you multiply 5 years. Not 10 years of saying nga balance 10 years of one. Let's just forget about 10 years. Let's do 5. So for the past 5 years, okay, multiply by 5 in dollars, $103 million, 783 $783 million dollars. 103 $183 million, 783,000. This is what they approximately made past 5 years. So in the past 5 years, left and for Nyako. Don't sila jama da jang. Because the OIC road, Namenke Jang, Senegal $100 million. $100 million for la 5 years. Yeah, this is just a fuel levy tax. You can go and check again. Namen post alba jala jale. Levy for NRA $8. $103 million domata janna. Way sila jalelo. Baroko nyari ako. Akate la silo nying highway. Akala nying fanko la nying what do you call it? La nying Senegambia silo nying ako. Every kilometer $1 million. Even though more be alano ko. Dr. Lai Mari Mole Afana ko price is too high. We all knew Mbenga alano ko price nying amanka no price $1 million silo jang wando kumati. $100 America what year nga tonya fonyoy. Okay? But that's fine. Nga mutarek bara fon wala fu. Akala silo they are $1 million per kilometer. Bandang along ko silol $300,000-400,000 US per kilometer. Ha, but ako 1 million. Fine. Let's just take the $1 million per kilometer divided by $1 million. What? To at least 103 kilometers of mafonyen kuma silol de. Ndolanye sukura sula manyene fale. Memena sila like real 100% world class silula kamen foteng. Talisika talisusuf nan kar odiam kala nan sifal. That sila sifal mbola. Double carriage, everything nice, pavements, everything drainages, 103 kilometers. 5 years like nyanta ko loan through our fuel levy tax through NRA. But B ala fonya jang NRA nene muna sila lo jang in past 5 years okono, past 10 years okono, silo fele 10 kilometer lambang, 5 kilometer lambang. Nimboda go silo maybe no jang bela na nyika fo ibeka fo la bada dame. World Bank lanjana giraffe lam. This guys OIC ngola moja bare man sakunda fele na silo nkaranka dada nga bonde jiare la fele asafala NRA nali yalo ala fanya bari they are getting $1.5 billion a year from what they said. Can you make a galeta? Ha. Can you make the galeta? Ha. From NRA. So after Hakele Fema, so this chunk of money, Nimbidaka NRA, nobody knows where this money is going. Itamantra jeka, mansilaje. But $1 billion from the fuel levy, $8 per every liter. So it means that every time I went to the petrol station, the Franco, petrol sabi $80 something, but $80 something $8 so we got NRA. Mbesiri be bilul mbeta mele mbeji belata. NRA hani nanyi busumbara sulo ni fara sulo ni fuwata. Hani ka fenka moreje. Besiri hani stridlado. Abe ni OIC kodolam wala ni giraffe kodolam wala ni World Bank wala EU kodolam. So who exactly is getting this $1.5 billion every year? That's the big question. Minat nang kumara ngana nganyo kacha ni nyinku wala jambi. Paske kata fuel pompo reta petrol station ye pompo pompo pamita ila hajo la kamera kuta kerem tul fale balbe burum we don't even know the complain at all. But na masibo be dami we don't even keep track of what it is. Karena be nyambang ganja mono mono nyin kachala jang. Nobody is talking about this. ndemana moje men na Facebook pour ka fa kana nyim fam ndol bi jana rek ngata billahi sen société la ya drapeau complète but it's saying ala fa saying okay nyin ser saying ngalla e dala sin ko kadi enare la banko dula ko nyaadi wallahi billahi 90% gamina bi basila koy hey akana mo yob enare nda transon ta di lala al ya kuntu wala yinde ya sembo so bi yende ke masa kunda bi president mi ko si kajano ay nak mo moy talan kayen ko yin fu ena imagine de afale enare la nyin e dala sonya how about saying maybe mba ko basila ko mbe e dala sit mbe fo dala sta la je mbe fo dala sta e go e lan ko ni okay mbe fo tala ngo ko basi ko je ngamunge nga fonko yele scholarship for STEM students, science, technology, you understand? Students all time, menka banko samba. Students all jibi menanko alhamdulillah rabbi amen. Whole berate, you understand? We focus on STEM and research education. Nkombe scholarship lele to university students that are interested in science, technology, and from quality, you understand? And mechanical work. Ka banko la métier tio sen ka agriculture sen ka loni tio sen mo kanja. So Coco saying, I'll take $4 out of the NRA, then $8. If I have the chance today, I'm being an advocate. Not $4 times $16 million, 16 million liters a day, sorry, a month. That is $64 million every month. In 1 year, that $4 alone, in 1 year has given me $768 million. $768 million is more sort of by just $4 of that NRA money. I mean, kuntu. Ko NRA ni la nyim eto say mbake la folate foni mbaji la students la pour la scholarship. Man lon ta to abudu man fenke man ta ay man ta wolba man fenke. Ninkalo gambe man foire al kalil la moy. Nganyim $4 wata immediately I got $768 million for the year. Ngala scholarship Polondi. Ni 768 million and see I can get 20,000 students, paying them 20,000 students, sorry. Each student will get $38,400 scholarship stipend or scholarship money for the year. UTG fell abandoned. UTG 35, 36, 37,000 for most students. So the average, Hanara Marila will have in Dallas will feel a falaje, but 38,000 to $40,000 is 20,000 students. 20,000 students every year. Karamunda ding will mwang. Sikarano. Fueji. Sahosang. From this $4 alone, tax levy, pomporo, fuel price. So I take NRL 800. NRL, alafonye. NRL nane munekatolo jang. Nte molo understand. Atolo mbela morola. Nale aja alafonye. You're getting $1.5 billion every year from fuel taxes. I don't see a single block. Namanke bandalonko la project. Ite boda malta maneganja. In fact, you are not even the contractor. You are just doing oversight, just to check a better farm, better attending. Ite muneke. Ite munesita. Wenare if any so konko ko ha ninsila karentele indala. What have you done? But you are getting $8 per month. So these are all the levels. One level will ma follow. Yellow bida. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 different levels taxes will be follow. No suffer. Every pump, every retirement pump, tax say 8 taxes equal bondi kuna. Number 1, well in rate. That's say $8 per liter. Number 2, ako excise tax. I told me karanta jang. Alila mo jande. Kausinyo you are an accountant, okay? So ako excise tax. Well, customs like tax, customs and excise. Now what I'm tax. $3 is 75 buduts. Okay? $3 is 75 buduts tax. Ako excise tax. Sa ako ko ke duty. Abi ni be safede ndema kamem for the mafo. wala be safri la price structure bala man sekunda la price structure ngake na woloto na pare leta jibe sai the duty ako $3.10 10 buduts sai man sekunda kilo ato mena karanda le tax ko understand do mani eko excise $3.75 buduts then ako duty $3.10 buduts nde nyumfulu be taxol de kata dumale ya where is the ya differentiate mentole duty kata dumale ya excise tax kata dumale ya ngabara man sekunda kilo nyimbe kata wolto ite kilin ko tax iko jang duty e man a clarify what kind of duty wala safari njede iko fana excise tax $3.75 budus tax fula na ko tan follow ibara je ko tan ke ko VAT tax VAT value added tax so ite masa kunda kilo yen tax killing yen tax fula yen tax nya saba ko tan ke nte banko din kilo ite ko sa nte ite fala fakanta fa ba yen tax excise tax la ko ha yen tax duty la e man duty fo clarify mun duty sifa lende fana ko dala saba fine iko na ko nye VAT $11 ita control we are still in a global crisis dunia be jahti jokono ite mang balafante han sign e bala tuyo mbori iko ni taxa bode ni kata nye gamme kilo la kande ni excise duty tax excise tax duty tax VAT tax ni tax kilo nta masa kunda kilo me be koleka wodo nga balafa nyini bari mbe fem fanam folale prali understand yalla nyimu taxol na futara pompo so tax dole fanan ka soto jey ka me throughput charges nin kurungol sembere jang yela essential jolong gam petroleum wala la nyi fankoto e kay la dapol ke fuel ma badami nin trok bad nata nyam mali trok ko nin jaaw lañ trok ko fon le fuel bonde depot e fem bonde je every metric ton every 1000 liters e mem bonde metric fankoto depot man sakunda nafa o fuel tioni ka fenne jo import export ni ka fenne jo tu man sakunda jiare be station ni jela gam petroleum e ka fay throughput charges what so nonu man fo atala fo ala fa bar what so ngam mel membano is $35 per metric ton dollar every 1000 liters every ton jiare is collecting so let's say 16,000 metric ton deja 16,000 binta wala 20 because yalla wo banyami malion la fanan takanala so malion la kamen consume ko fanan kasiyala so ni be la nyokan gambia la commande gambia la demand mali la demand gene bisaw yo be boni import moto as you know I will I 30,000 here but let's say gambia da maka me use woda mala boni you understand gam petroleum 16,000 metric tons average you multiply by $35 that's $560,000 a month wala ka dun jare la poso kono just kudu wala sembe rek ay tulo bandi manjina ba manjina ri woni arto la pompo mankelen na finti dawto adunda sata kono wata mala jin taxol kana ñin VAT nolde so jare do morkel already wala $35 do mol already per metric ton at depot hanu e man kanyande so you multiply per month you understand so per year 12 years 12 months that is $6.72 million multiplied by 74 maybe 495 97 million dollars wodo already as throughput woni ñim man kili sa yo be dum already ata man sakuna kilo yana sa ko ñafanan ñum pompo price of na iko sa ben tax la duty la $3 per liter tax excise tax you want to charge me $3.75 per liter yana ko ñafanan VAT tax value added tax VAT mbe busala $11.09 bututs nte gamben kilo nte foire kilo ito ko ka balafanten but you keep telling me how banguma sonaya forgetting no why are you hating me all this so tax saba mam men understand tax excise duty that you didn't clarify and VAT yo sabol ka fu ñoma tax o rek tada kañen jëlu okay marga you okay 1 2 3 4 so yo ka fu ñoma na episode banda mango ngajamba Now come way still. Guys, now come way still a bit. Let me know. Give me a thumbs up. So let's say what's up with the madam? $11.09 plus $3.75 or 75 bututs. Yo, that's $0.10 bututs. Yo, kafunyoka, that's $17.94. Sorry, 94 bututs. Tax sabar. VAT, VAT, duty, malamun duty lam, ima clarify. Then excise duty tax. Imbimus tax sabalti. Yemen lanka. Wana enare taman kilende. Yemen kude enare. Ha, buru iten enare ko kodo kadami. Ning inshallah mo fana lona jallun kile. Nyimma ko jak. Allahu akbar. So was $17 woni. Ufana mbe sakirinje. You fana multiply sama kono. Musa karo kono 16 by 16 million liters. You're looking at about $287 million by the year. $3 billion. $3 billion. $3.4 billion. Womu in taxable. Say balafa mole baye in taxable ta yekli va mi va balaje wala va bondije wala va keep je yo yen excise ning duty yo kabosi yo yam balal wala o mu jëlate $6 and 85 bututs yam balal wala so ajal ni yam balal wala maybe ye enare lañ eto yo ko half yo ko $4 city ajal so bala say naturally mol data pom fo daji so ajal so yen taxol beta ajal another jalu billion 3 point something billion dollars star okay for nothing momala ñim varka du nami mota fole ñim bekata jiare la billion beduna rek nobody have any idea when this how this ko ñim fo ba kerem fa in the first place adu nula buru yalam abe fi sawol say na dafa ngay ko même fa ko fa ñala fo len domane say ko fana adoda taxi ko fuel levy vehicle license every January police will mo sar ko be ko ngara na license fo gol falin ko di intenti mbeka falin ñat mo tiyo be ka falin yara fa ko do feja $1 every liter wala kata pour vehicle license bantene be lancé jela Samsung every December we pay license sa te ko pour ni ma jo police le pack sina jela yanda fo pa janna nan doge la mbo jabe jibiro atata mbela ka kam bonni police bu lokon sina ko sonda bo sona jola fenande fodde minna wala ngani na sometimes so bu yara fan abidjan $1 per liter going to fuel levy vehicle license akada it's still in adana na fungora bajala data na page lo bajala jalo then another tax again alila mo jande fuel levy for vehicle license $1 motor vehicle license yenyim fanan kejel. So you ask me to pay fuel levy for vehicle license $1. Akokoten koko motor vehicle license 50 bututs every liter. Road tax. Nitara ila lansino yale kani road tax joko di jare road tax. Okay? After jare collecting the VAT, jare collecting duty, jare collecting excise tax, jare collecting throughput charges at Mandinari. Hanu ko tange ila road tax ko tange iko 30 bututs every liter. Then 20 bututs for every liter for car parks wala garasol. Garaso ben nyamu garaso ben balito lu woni sin to labbi kama garaso ke ya go manda garaso kilinga garaso mantran ndol ko no ndal ba yuskan ha ya so 20 cents 20 butus for car parks. So let's say 20 butus for jamba. let's look at 20 budus. Me na kapa na garasol. So 0.20 times 16 million multiplied by 12 year for the year. That's 38 million dollars. Nyandro samala na fungo na kapa gold. Ha 38 million. Untola bi kamera jibe hampana gandi. Nyile mene mbarito boy abo na fanga da wason Gambia adundi. Buru numero ay na be si mandra dogol aran pak amandra dokoto. Ya busum kotale. Masakunda e kapa ko dogo ya di minister of transport la. So then ina ra nyele be yin kapa ko. So you see all this money. Ina re fon la ko do ne te do mani ndila kapa ko la jeba. So nyum ko do fana mbekata nyam. So the same people, the same Gambians, e ko tak balafata menia. Bi ko wara sitala ite jela di e ko te le fonkol di subsidy. Pour fuel ji $98 ko nyondo anyanda kala 100 and something. Okay? Fine. So e ko 300 and something million already subsidy. Sai ala ganyin taxo be konti ma. Bi ganyin taxo be konti. Ngana all the sign. Na taxol be konti ya kanyan $27.56 just niebe ka funyoka NRA GRA astafula NRA the funkoing this VAT tax, excise tax, fuel levy, motor vehicle, road tax, ngapari. You make about every pump, every fuel, every liter you pump. Tax say it be sitting basically you just sitting there you go down prep. Yeah, ngajare jofolo, NRA jofolo, $8 for that. So you see your pump going like this. I work at yo, it be jorola. It be kodo de kan mo furola. Ibra kodo tinyala. You don't even know what's going on. Understand? It be $8 dikan. So ila force $8 so NRA hotel. Ila $3 so excise tax. Another $3 duty tax. Beja ko nga VAT, $11 tax. Fuel levy tip $1. So they say as you are pumping, your $427 is fonyo. Fonyo kono. Don't tell me how masakundala yenda balula tax on kabalula. Of course, the man balay tax. I don't mind you taxing. Bring me to our man balon tax ojala. But every budunga menjo tax ojo nkaja silo kanne. Nkaja in the services that they're providing for me. NRA as a particular institution left a lately afonye. When is the last time I go 10 kilometers silo fele world class silo NRA men that are from the fuel leg alafanyeba. So are they using NRA as a funnel? You funnel money through there. You go to the bank to Yakobo Sikoto, Yasama Yakala Hajudot. Go and look at the NRA office in Jang, Battle Harding Have. You can't see boom. Even their office is just nasty, unkept, just there. The environment is just not even conducive. This is the same NRA receiving $1.5 billion from fuel levy tax in a year. In 5 years, that's almost $8 billion. What's like Jalolo? Hani sise boom, hani street like kendo. Natul Arabu la kudo manna, wala nyin la kudo manna, EU la kudo, wala nyin giraffe kudo na atul ka fenkeno. It's across the board, from here to Basse. Tell me, now they are jalafanya. So it's not like I don't like paying. I don't think we should be, taxes, but let it show. So $27 is every time you go to the filling station, you start pressing that thing, your first $27.56 has gone through the window. Now let's do the math on that to understand what kind of money is in this country and what kind of money can be made in this fuel industry. This is just one commodity. We have rice, we have sugar, we have flour, we have all kinds of commodities in the country. This is just one commodity. One industry. $27.56 is what I calculated here, including information, 50 budu, 10 budu, okay? Let's do the math on that. Times 16 million liters per month. That's $440 million every month. You multiply that by 1 year, from one industry, one commodity alone. Government taxes, tambulu mafo, important la fonko ning karakarabo. No. Just the simple taxes Plain taxes, not like come if I can offend, no. GR, NRA, excise duties, VAT, duty, vehicle license, motor vehicle license, road tax. Already that. We pay motor vehicle license, we pay road tax, we pay vehicle license. In fact, they listed it twice here. They said the vehicle license and motor vehicle license. You know, the 50 brutes. All of this combined, you multiply that by 12. Guess how much? 5.291 billion. 5,291,520,000. This is how much our government extracts from us on a yearly basis in taxes on one commodity that we cannot live without. Our lives depend on it, our vehicles, our industries, our factories, everything that we do revolves around this commodity. They said, now let's choke them here because they cannot escape. Instead of a another tax base, broaden the tax base, open the market, open the private sector. Understand? Company alone can do later, do quality more higher, more tax in other ways. But they want to be so lazy, so heartless. You don't want to think. You don't want to be imaginative. You don't want to grow your economy. You don't want to grow your agricultural sector. You don't want to grow your tourism sector to attract foreign direct investment, bring foreign currency to the country, make the country more viable, the tax base in abroad and move a tax job. But no. You are too lazy to do that. What do? You prey on the helpless poor people that cannot live without this commodity called petrol. They will need it one way. You go to the supermarkets, right? You're gonna need nawek. Okay, you're gonna need crown, generators. You know, if you own a factory, the same thing. Vehicles, you have to move around. So you have no escape from this commodity. So they trap you there. And they abstract this humongous amount of $5,291,000,000. Our overall collection, GRA, is $20-something billion, right? So 5 is almost what? 1/4 of it. For one commodity. That is serious. That is serious. See? $5 billion in taxes alone. Like I said, I don't tax. But imagine, okay, money basic, what could have happened? Some of these things, like this motor vehicle thing, I'm already paying it. Why are you charging me again? Right? Cross that out. $1 is gone. Motor vehicle license, 50 bucks is gone. Crash it out. Road tax, I'm already paying it. Take it out. Car park, fine. Maybe O2J. Okay? The VAT tax, yeah, you can keep that. Okay? This duty, I don't know what the hell is this. I'm already paying excise tax. Why are you asking me duty again? Cross that out. Save at least what? Maybe, 1, 2, 5. Then NRA 8 you save $9-10. So $9-10 could easily be off the price that we had before the war started. So if it was like $80-something, $88, it could have easily be $75, $74, $76 with good leadership. This is why leadership is very, very important. You for political, because why are we dealing with this? I have the idea, right? I told you, if he left to me, I'll take that NRA money, cut it into half, take 4 out of it, $4, and put it into educational scholarship fund for 20,000 students every year. And I can pay 20,000 students at UTG at $38,000 and $400 every student, 20,000 fixed. With single stroke of a pen, that can happen. But where do I have the power? Zero. I don't have the power. I don't have the political power to do it. The only thing that can allow me to do that, have a president that can listen to me, a UDP president, okay? Tell them this and that, and hopefully they buy the idea and implement this. Because we are giving $8 to NRA. You haven't seen anything for the past 10, 15 years. They have not built a single road that's even worth more than $50, $70 million. And they are collecting $1,530,000,000 every year, going by the tariff that they have here. So what justifies me to keep giving NRA $8 per gallon, per liter? I will not. So I'll find ways to cut it, maybe to half, or maybe cut it into 3. Give some to this, give maybe if it's 8, give 2.5 whatever to education, another 2 point something to a stadium. How much is a stadium, right? 50 to 60 million pounds you can build a stadium, roughly about $70 million. In 2 years, NRA can build a new stadium. Just the tax they are collecting at this very rate of $8. 2 years, they can build a stadium. We are here crying about stadium. Anytime we go to stadium, we have to take a loan. What loan? JRA is making $1.5 billion. That's $72 million. Sorry. No, 1.70. Yes, about 20, about 21 million dollars. So in 2 years, 3 years, you can build a stadium. About 60, $70 million. You can get a 40,000 seater or 35,000 seater stadium for Gambia. That's good enough. We are here waiting on a loan for a stadium, settling, locking down our future generation with more and more loans. When we are letting NRA get away with murder here, $1.5 billion a year, going like that. I dare anybody at all be saying NRA they last year. Zero. So why justify giving them? But why can't I make this change? Because I don't have the political will. I don't have the political power. So when I make for political fair quality, you don't even know what's going on. Because these taxes, just like Zambia did today, they suspended the VAT, made it to 0. Okay, and they suspended the excise tax for Zambia's fuel economy to save their citizens from going through hardship. Who did that? The president did that. Who is my president? I don't know. Is he gonna do it? No. How do I change that? I have to get him out of there. How do I get him out of there? I have to do politics. This is politics. Politics, a day in power, can just all you need is a scratch of a signature of a pen. Tell them I don't need this tax. Remove this duty, this $3 duty. Get it out of there. Keep the excise tax, the VAT, bring it down to 5%, $5 instead of 11. NRA from 8, make it $3. My $5 for that, I'm gonna put it somewhere else. I find another levy to put that levy. It's okay to tax this, but let it show in our lives. Maybe I'll put 2.5% for parks and wildlife. We have no park in Gambia. Anywhere you go here, park the country is dry. There's no area where you can go even have a good time and just walk around and enjoy nature, trees and cool temperatures. No, everywhere is gone. I'll put a levy to create a parks and wildlife department where they'll have funding from this fuel levy. $300, $400, $500 million a year. So they don't have to get government funding for that. Parks and wildlife are tied to fuel life subsidies. We start having parks around the country. Wildlife resorts started popping up. We can challenge Fatala. We need to know. We can't just keep doing the same stupid things. This is reality. It's not a joke. The numbers are there. You don't have to take my word for it. Toyota, check. I just posted it on my wall. Check it. We throwing money away. Why am I getting tax duty and getting excise tax at the tune of $3 and something says? You put that together, that's hundreds of millions of dollars that I'm just throwing away. We have we want to build stadiums. Let's have a youth and sports levy fund or recreational sports and recreational levy. Because we know we have a youthful population. 65% of our population are youths. They'll be engaging in a lot of youthful things. From parks to theme parks to football fields, 6 aside thing, this carpet, whatever, neighborhoods. Take that away from Support the GFA with it. Yes, GFA will get some money from FIFA, whatever, FIFA, something going on. But let's also find a way to support their grassroots sports level. Put a levy. Let's say put $2. Okay? Put a $2 levy. Or $1 and 50 brutes. Times 16 million barrels, so liters a month. That's $24 million a month. In a year, I'm giving $288 million. You know how many mini stadiums you can build from this $288 million? Huh? Let's say 5. You can build 5. Divided by 5, let's see. That's $57 million. $57 million, you can build small football fields around this whole area without without begging anybody for anything. So all of this could fit into this fuel levy issue. So I urge all of you to go back and take a look at that fuel tariff again. Check exactly what I'm saying and try to make sense out of it. Do your calculations. Again, Gambia's consumption is 16,000 metric tons every month. That is 16 million liters every month. Take that metrics and do your calculation. Go look at those numbers. Do your maths and see if, in fact, you are seeing the results of these, how to call it, levies in those departments. Example, NRA. For GRA, look at all this. 1, 2, 3 different taxes. For what? How do you expect us to grow? And after all this, you're coming back again and taxing our businesses. After this in the pump, you're coming back again and taxing our businesses. So I know we're a tax country, I get it. But let's be smart about our taxes. And in times of crisis, like we are in today, in this war going on, this is the time to bunker around. Check your taxes and say, hey, Nakeba, let's just get this out of there. 3 months, 4 months window. Your VAT, suspend it. Suspend the VAT, $11. Get that NRA thing, $8. That's 20, what? That's $19 already. $19 is gone. You add another, maybe the motor vehicle thing, is $1, $20 is gone. So literally we could be sitting and then $20 is taken off our fuel money. Just like that. So from 98, we're about $70-something, just like that. Just like that. And we wouldn't even feel the Iran war. No. After the war, yes, you can bring it back. You know, say, okay, 3 months is fine. We everything is fine now. Let's go back to normal. The country has to survive. We need taxes. Yeah, sure. But I'm not going back to that GRA $8 again. Sorry, NRA. Okay, and that $11 VAT for what? Let us breathe. Let's give your citizens some reprieve. Don't overtax people. And even if you're gonna tax me, also let me see where my taxes are going. And we have a lot of places where we could place these taxes, where we can put these monies at. That's gonna pay benefits, dividends to the people and improve our lives. Education, like I was telling you, just $4 out of that NRA money could pay for 20,000 students at UTG, because we're paying scholarship at Brigham American. So I know how much you're paying, about $35, $37,000. So I'm paying $38,000 per student, $20,000, just getting $4 per liter. Just 4. NRA, cut it down from 8 to 4. Let them keep 4. Whatever they want to do with it, fine. Okay? But let the 4 go to educational fund. Get another $2 somewhere, put it a sports and recreational fund. Levy for youths. You don't need the Minister of Youth. The entire budget of the Minister of Youth is less than $300 million. This tax alone, $1.50 alone, will give you about $288 million for sports and recreational levy on our fuel prices. Just put it there, nobody will even know you have it. So you can have enough money to basically challenge the budget of the entire Ministry of Youth and Sports. It's about $300 million. Sometimes it will even drop less than $200 million, an entire ministry. So you can fund everything you want through these levies. Just be smart about it. but we are here wasting time. So we're here, you know, wow, kirikarab. Yeah, they can be, of course, don't they? You are not using, we have no excuse. You see, Allah is not, Allah is very fair. Most of our things are self-inflicted. We refuse to think. We refuse to sit down and reflect. Yes, we are a tax nation, yes, but we shouldn't tax ourselves to death. Yes, GRA wants to collect 20-something million for Barrow every year. They brag about it. Yeah, we just say, yeah. What about us? What about our lives? Like I said, America, I know for sure our state, the state that I lived in, Seattle or Washington State, our taxes, our fuel taxes, there's a parks and recreational levy in there. I know it. But if you go to Washington, we have one of the best parks around the world. People will fly from New York to come to Washington State just to enjoy our parks during the summertime and the ski resorts during the wintertime. Because the money is there. Where's the money coming from? My fuel that I'm buying per liter. Why can't we do that? Cut one of that thing, put $1, $2 for parks and recreational lives. We can revive the Tanje Bio-Reserve, you know. They need money. Abuko Nature Reserve is dead. You throw 200 million at Abuko Nature Reserve, you can go to South Africa, buy a bunch of lions now, bunch of giraffes, bunch of leopards, bunch of stuff. In every year you spend $200-300 million on Abuko Nature Reserve and Kian West National Park, you know, the Tanje Bio Reserve and all these things. Before you know, the tourists are back again. But they have something to look up to. You go to Abuko Nature Reserve, there's nothing. There's only stupid monkeys and everything is gone. You go to South Africa, you buy again, bring them back, compete Nyokolokoba, Fatala. See, bring it back, but you don't have the money for it. There's a place where you can get it. And I rely on $8 so I couldn't give it. Take $2 out of it. Yeah. You get 106, you get $32 million a month. Just by $2. There's a lot we can do. Our country is not as poor and destitute as we think it is. We just have some really, really heartless people, no brains. All they know is chop, 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 and making the president look happy by some fake numbers. You taxing people to death and you're bragging about I collected 25 million. 25 million of what? Making me poorer and sicker and more stressed because I don't know where to go. I have no parks. I have no recreational life. I have no football fields. I'm just roaming around as a young man. But I'm giving I'm giving $1,536,000,000 to NRA. Every time I pass through the office, I look NRA. It's like a bunch of houses sitting there, people just roaming around. Once in a while, you see them with pails, and they're trying to do the potholes to fatter the potholes after the rainy season. That's it. 1.5 billion has gone to them. Is it a matter of money just funneling through the so-called NRA and then going somewhere else? Maybe. Because I don't believe NRA is sitting on just $1 billion, just sitting there like that and refusing to do work. Street lights. Look, everywhere is dark here. So let's think. We need to start thinking and asking questions. We go to the pump every day, we buy. Nobody is taking time to come and say, what exactly am I paying for? This thing that I posted here, I don't think I'm going to post Facebook there. So now let's look at it. Next month also is going to come. I'll probably have access to it, and we'll put it there. You'll see the same things again. But then the government come and tells you, we did a subsidy, 320 million. Fine. That's just one. That's just normally you should be getting 440 million. So you cutting whatever 300 and something million just to subsidize. Why don't you just do the whole thing? 3 months. You don't have to do it for the long term. Do what Zambia did. Do 3 months. Eliminate VAT. Cut your excise tax to zero. In our case, get this nonsense NRA levy to zero. Duty, whatever, to zero. You've already saved $20 plus. So right now, as we are saying, even in the middle of the crisis, if you had cut this extra $20, even in the middle of this crisis, from 98, take $20 out of it and see. You're 78. You can still survive at least 3 months. Yes, you're going to take a little hit on the taxes. NIRA is going to cry. But who cares if NIRA cries? Because even if they have zero money, who gives a shit? Because as far as we know, with that money, NIRA money again. There's no new road that they did in the past 5 years and say this NIRA road, NIRA sponsored road. No. So what exactly am I paying? So if they don't get the $8, who cares? As far as we are concerned as citizens, who really cares if NIRA didn't get the $8? So cut it off for 3 months. Unless that money is going somewhere. That's kind of like what I'm suspecting. The money is going to NIRA, but it's not ending up NIRA. Finding a way somewhere. Yeah. This is you know. So this is what I wanted to talk about today. I'm glad, hopefully, you know, many people will understand from now on. And when the next, so this is why politics is very, very, I'm just gonna close it from that point of view. Why politics is very important. Because in a democracy, in a civilized society, you can only change governments through what? Legal means, politics, convincing people, have them work for you, and then let them give you a chance to do or implement your ideas. And ideas are what's going to make a difference here. Okay, so the reason why politics is so important, all of these things I just told you today, I can bet you, guarantee you, if this was Dabo or UDP president in place today, the kind of empathy that I know they have for the Gambian people and the accountability that we profess or we fight for, I don't think we will sit here today knowing that $1.353 billion has gone to GRA, so the NRA, and we all sit here for 1 year and just watch NRA do nothing. That's not going to happen. And I can go and tell them, look, this $4 to NRAs, $8 to NRA is too much. Give me $4. I want to pay the schools the tuitions of 20,000 UTG students. If you announce that to the Gambian people today, they'll be shocked in the same way that when Yankuba Damu came to BAC and told them he's going to give them scholarships for 1,000 students. They were shocked because they never thought about it. The money was somewhere, but leadership is the reason why that money came out. There was somebody there as a chairman before. He was there because of politics, and because of politics he was removed. When the politics changed, people's life changed immediately. When he was there, he couldn't give 1 scholarships. The guy that came after him through politics gave 1,000 scholarships last year, and this year he's going to give another 1,000 scholarships. From the same institution, the same taxes. No Malaka came down, no Tubab came down, no magic happened. The only thing that happened is leadership. Prioritizing your spending, knowing what to spend money on, what not to spend money on, what are the priorities of the people that voted in you for, voted you in. So looking at these taxes and the amount of money that I know I can get, it's an eye-opener for me. But whatever ideas that I have, how do I implement it? That $4 here, I'll tell you about the students, 20,000 students getting scholarships by cutting NRA's money from $8 to $4 alone has changed 20,000 lives. Today, that sounds like a dream, of course. Sounds like something like a magical thing. What do you mean 20,000 scholarships? Who are we? What kind of money? Do we have any loan from IMF? No, I don't need IMF loan. Do I have to go back EU for scholarship? No. It's right under my feet. I just have to see it. I just have to appreciate it. I just have to grab it. I just have to prioritize it in my head. I just have to think that I don't have to keep wasting money with NRA. I said, well, I have a youthful population. My VAT is how much? $11 is per VAT. Okay, I'll take $3 out of the $11. I'll leave it at 8. I'll take 3. I'll take the $3 from that VAT, from that VAT, and I'll call it the Youth Use and Recreational Fund, and then have that fund to be managed by the Ministry of Youth and Sports. $3 per month, per liter. $3 per liter. That's $48 million per month. By 12 in a year, I'm getting $576 million. That's currently more than almost twice the budget of the Ministry of Youth as we speak. These are real numbers. As we speak, the Ministry of Youth and Sports budget is about $300 million. $3 alone from the VAT tax, because I'm charging VAT. They're charging me VAT, they're charging me duty, they're charging me excise tax. So VAT $11, excise tax 3, duty 3. So I take VAT, I take $3 out of it. I left with $8. That's still enough. So you still have $8 VAT, taxes, $3 duty, $3 excise tax. That's 3 taxes. Still, I could still even do away with some of that. But let's just keep it at that. $11, I take $3 out of it. That gives me how much? $576 million every year as a youth and recreational fund. What do they do? What should we, maybe every year they say let's put 5 mini stadiums. $115 million every year. 5 mini stadiums. Jara, Fonyi, Kiang, Kantora. Okay? Next year again, 5 mini stadiums. Jara, okay, Fonyi, Katong, spread it out. Before 5 years, you have 20, 30 mini stadiums along the country. Leagues everywhere. Local leagues, to regional leagues, to national leagues. Everywhere have a quality field where they can compete, they can nurture knowledge, nurture talent, academics can grow. You don't have to be in the city to have these kind of facilities. You can have access to quality facilities and nurture your talent, have leagues that are profitable, professional leagues, and then talent obviously grows and then hopefully make their way to Europe like other people are doing. You can do it all within $3 per liter. The numbers are here. $115 million in Jara to build a small mini stadium. 1,000, 2,500, 3,000 people sitter. Easily. Yes, sounds like a magical thing, but it's not. It's doable. All of this is happening by one industry, one petrol industry that you cannot live without. None of us can live without. So you have no choice. You have to drive, you have to go to work, you have to do things. So whether you like it or not, you will spend on this product. It's a very unique one. You can do the same thing with rice, sugar, cashew. But like I said, come down to it, it's all about politics. Without politics, you cannot get power, and without power, you cannot implement these kind of ideas. They'll just be stuck in your head and no way to implement it. So politics is very important. They're just lying to you. It's a very, very important thing to do, because if it goes the wrong way, people suffer. Anyway, if it goes right, it goes well for a lot of people and they change lives. I've seen it. The BSc, lives are changed. The scholarship alone is a life change. I've seen lives that are changed by those scholarships. Those families will never be the same again. Those kids will graduate. They'll be providers. There'll be success stories. There'll be future leaders, company owners, and so many things by just a gesture
of scholarship. So yeah. Anyway, I thank you all for taking the time to join me this evening. I really appreciate your company, and I hope moving forward we will start asking questions. Even if a new government comes in, you can call and say, hey, Sidiki, remember you told us blah blah blah. Let's figure this out. So we all need to engage. The citizens and the leaders need to be all on the same page. You know, they like us to be in darkness, and we cannot keep being in darkness. We have to, you know, get ourselves ready. Yeah. So I'm posting B, and I said, let me make a live so I can clarify some of these things so people understand why I posted this that price structure, to indicate what are the taxes in there and what they mean, what it could be if it's done the right way, and currently what we are going through, which we are not benefiting from. So we'll see another time, inshallah. If I have any other important stuff to talk about, I'll swing by again and we have a discussion. Thank you so much, and good night to all of you. Thanks.